Welcome back to the news at 10. And just before we went on break, I told about a very old bridge in Ohafia, Abia State, which provides the delicate link between Ebem community and its neighbors, which has come under threat, which has been a threat to the lives of commuters. The Amir Bridge, located along the federal road that connects Abia State and other eastern and southeast states like Ebonyi and Cross River State, has deteriorated badly and is looking very dilapidated. Our attention was drawn to the bridge by an eyewitness report sent to Channels Television, and that's where our community report tonight is focused.
Tisala, now you're talking.
Just one look at the Muri Bridge tells the obvious story that it has certainly seen better days. And those days are long gone. And as vehicles of various sizes gingerly trundle across, the bridge groans under their weight, with a creaking sound giving ominous signals that it might just give way at any time. Lurking beneath is the river's water, waiting to overwhelm whoever has the misfortune of crashing through the yawning holes.
Since I was born, I have been seeing this bridge, and I'm barely 48 years now. Some story had it that it is a colonial master bridge. Some say it was built by the soldiers before the war. For the past 2 years now, we have been having a lot of problems. Hardly every week without this bridge collapsing. And once the bridge collapsed, our farmers, our women that go to farm, they don't normally pass there. Either they go through the river, they jump into the river and go through the other side of the river. It will be there for, say, 1 week, 2 weeks before somebody will volunteer to come and repair it, just a repair, which after the repair, 2-3 weeks, the thing will collapse again.
The barely 20-meter-long Bailey Bridge is said to date back to colonial times, a history corroborated by the rusty metal railings and supports. The delicate structure, however, carries the heavy burden of connecting the communities of Ebem in Ohafia and Abiam in Arochukwu. It's a major route used by farmers and traders to convey their goods and services.
This is a link bridge between the two constituencies. It's a major link between the two constituencies. You understand? So, as a philanthropic organization, we felt if you come across our people not being able to visit themselves or interact really, whether in farming or you find the bridge, very, very necessary for the existence, in fact, daily existence of the citizens of this constituency.
For some time now, that bridge was disconnected. The business activities from Ohafia to Arochukwu, know that Arochukwu are farmers. Most of them are farmers. And Ohafia too. And the two sister local governments, they intermarry. They do everything in common. But that bridge, because it's an ancient bridge built during the long time ago, so was sometime disconnected.
The infrastructural significance of the Muri Bridge is that it lies along the almost 40-kilometer stretch of Umuahia-Bende Ohafia Federal Road, linking neighboring states like Ebonyi and Cross River.
We'll be crying, asking the federal government to come and help us rebuild this bridge. Because this bridge cuts across a lot of states. You have Ebonyi State. From here, if you just go a little, you will get Ebonyi State. From here, you get a little, you get Cross River and Akwa Ibom.
A visit to the Federal Ministry of Works in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, draws a blank. No one is able to clarify the reason for its neglect. However, a group of public-spirited individuals has decided to take up the responsibility of making temporary repairs.
It's even better now. It used to be very terrible. It was so unsafe and fearful. So, but I learned somebody came and fixed it a little. But it's still bad. You can see how we managed to maneuver.
Considering its significance of both social and economic activities in the area, Murray Bridge is in desperate need of a complete overhaul. Otherwise, business might be forced to a standstill, not to mention the loss of lives if it eventually caves in under the weight of vehicular traffic. Charles Eruka for Channels Television News.
Etisola, now you're talking.
We turn our attention back to the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. Another issue that will be focused at the group's meeting, which begins on Tuesday, will be instilling discipline and knowledge among school children. To achieve success in this process, certain attributes are required in children to place them in positions that will support all other provisions of quality education. In this next report, our correspondent Oreoluwa Shunibare looks at two voluntary groups and the extra values they place on children for suitable development.
When it comes to the educational development of children, knowledge and discipline cannot be ignored. Knowledge is an understanding of someone or something, which is acquired through gathering of facts and information for the benefit of learning. Discipline is an organized training intended to prepare a person in a craft, trade, or other activity with a particular code of conduct. This year's focus of the National Economic Summit Group on Education, the sector that holds the key to national development, could not have come at a better time, as it is a sector that has experienced probably the worst type of decline in standards, quality, and value in Nigeria today. Voluntary groups such as debating societies and scout movements in schools used to be popular, but there's a noticeable decline in participation in recent times, with fingers pointing to social media as the #1 distraction. The first recognized student debating society was the St. Andrews Debating Society in Scotland, formed in 1794 as a literary society, and since then the art has been used as a medium of settling arguments.
I'm here to oppose the topic, e-games and social media, a threat to 21st century learning. What is e-games? That may be a subjective question, but it's likely that many educators will give answers that fall in the same category. 1. Students collaborating and discussing ideas and possible solutions.
Facebook, over 520 terabytes of data processed daily. And Twitter, over 9 million tweets processed a day. The television, over 1 billion watches a day. Before I give the honor to you, I would like to remind us that we are the 21st century that is greatly characterized by computers, electronic games, and software. Good day, the chairman, the panel of journalists, and great timekeeper, and my fellow debaters.
Expressing concern over the seeming decline of interest in debating, this school administrators bear their minds on the issue.
Around the world, I can assure you, debating has never, ever been as popular. In the things like the World Scholars Debate, you have 1,000 children debating from the ages of 11 to 18. It's never been more popular. No school can proceed and call itself a true intellectual environment without debating.
I think it's from the teachers. A lot of teachers, there's a dearth in good teachers who are willing to go the extra mile, to make sacrifice, to engage the children and help them. In so many schools, in spite of the fact that they have co-curricular clubs, public speaking, literary and debating, book clubs are not there anymore. And we need to engage in those things.
The Scout movement, formed by British military officer Robert Baden-Powell in the 1800s, aims to support young people seeking discipline in their physical and mental development, with a strong focus on the outdoors and survival skills, as seen with these students of this public school. Although they don't have their Scout uniforms on, their enthusiasm cannot be faulted. But how well is the Scout movement faring?
The interest of the youth today is really It's alarming. Except that the parents may not give them the support that is needed. Otherwise, the youths are interested in joining the Scout Association.
There's a popular saying on teaching children the way to go. Now, if knowledge and discipline are made part of the lessons, then the National Economic Summit Group may have just played the right peg in the right hole. Oraoluwa Shenibare, reporting for Channels Television News.
I guess it is an evening for uniforms, because I have joining me now on the news at 10, Engineer Babatunde Oyetayo, who's an aeronautical engineer by profession, but he's also a state commissioner for the Air Scouts. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Thank you, ma'am.
I guess Ore was sort of, I don't know if he's a member of your group at the Air Scout, but he had his hat and his cape on. But really, how important is it for children to join extracurricular groups such as yours?
It is very, very important for them too, because groups like Scouting or Scout is like a complete curriculum in itself, because it develops the leadership quality in the kids, teaches them values, honesty, loyalty, resilience, love for others, love for environment, etc., etc.
Does it have any impact on their education?
Of course, because the Scouting methodology in itself is a progressive system of learning. And in as much as it's not a formal thing, it's not like write and read. You tend to teach them through songs, through activities, through jokes, so as to teach them all these things with ease, make it interesting to them, so that when next you call them to come, they'll be willing to come. And of course, what Scouting does really is, it gives them that opportunity to be able to do things themselves. They plan their meetings themselves, they carry out their activities themselves, they make their mistakes, and they learn from it.
Sorry, does this cut across all groups? I mean, do they usually give children the opportunity to lead themselves in other groups? Is it the same thing, apart from your...
Well, I would suppose so, but I would talk more on Scouting now, because Scouting has become a phenomenon, so to say, throughout the world, because of the system and the approach which we use to teach the children. And it's become something of a household. And we just have to imbibe same in Nigeria. You have to hold it with two hands and take the best from it. Since Scouting started, you realize that as a person, as I for one, as an aeronautical engineer, you will realize that my profession is based on integrity and honesty. And this is a basic thing Scouting has taught me since when I was young. So, for an instance, if a pilot tells you he has this problem in the aeroplane, he puts it down on paper. By the time I finish my job as an aeronautical engineer, I'll put it on paper as well. But pilot cannot go and check the panel to see where my problem is, but he has to trust me. And that's the virtue of honesty Scout teaches.
Yeah, it does sound like the kids are going to have a lot of fun in this particular group. Thank you so much, Engineer Oyetayo, for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you.
And the news still ahead on the news at 10 is sports news. Liverpool and Arsenal record crucial wins in Super Sunday fixtures in the English Premier League. Do stay tuned.